And I am joined here today by a special guest, Wendi. Wendi is a recent graduate of our health protocol, which is a tailored approach for ambitious women looking to recover from burnout and fatigue. So, hi, Wendi. I am so
Hi.
happy you're here today and open to sharing your story. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're at, a little bit about what you like to do for fun?
Um, okay. Hi. um, I have been fighting for about 30 years um, to figure out a way to feel like a human being should feel and been through so much. It's crazy the amount of fighting a person has to do every month just to get the patch. I feel like the patch prescriptions from the doctors just to be able to function. Um, And then somehow 30 years later, I met you. And within, I would say, I would say about 3 months in, I actually felt like a full-fledged human for the first time since I was a child.
Wow.
Um, and what do I do for fun? I do every kind of crafting I possibly can,
Oh, yes.
which honestly is something I have not felt like doing for about, I don't know, maybe a year, and I'm just now getting back into all of it.
Beautiful. So, for those of you guys listening, we know that as women, there are millions of us out there who are struggling with prioritizing our health, struggling with finding the energy levels to complete even just basic daily function, right? Struggling to put ourselves first, which is exactly where you were, Wendi, before starting the protocol, right? And
Oh
so,
yeah.
for anything like how Wendi was back then, right now, I'm sure you're going to deeply appreciate Wendi's journey. So, Wendi, let me ask you, what exactly were you going through about 6 months ago? Because that's about the time we met, right? So, what
hmm
were you going through at the time? If you could just kind of put us into your shoes and
Okay.
how you were feeling, like your day-to-day function.
Um, I really didn't have any functions. I was at the point where I just basically couldn't do anything. Um, and I know this will make you laugh, but I spent most of my days in my recliner,
The recliner.
um, which is now on the burn pile, thankfully. um, I was pretty desperate. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and most of us know the fatigue and the brain fog and everything that comes with that. But then on top of it, um, I had COVID and was told that I had the long COVID and was dealing with migraines and dizziness, severe dizziness every single day for a year.
Wow.
And within weeks of working with you, I was not having that stuff as much. It was still there, but it was so much improved. And in the meantime, it has improved so much just since following what you told me to follow.
Mhm.
Um, a day for me would have been waking up whenever because I haven't been able to work being dizzy and having the migraines. There's no way I could drive. It's not safe for me and it's not safe for anybody else. So I had to quit my job. So I would just wake up whenever I woke up, go downstairs, and basically sit in my recliner all day.
Yeah, and we joke now about the recliner, and
Yep.
that was something I always joked with Wendi during our appointments. I was like, "Oh my God, we have to get rid of that recliner." And when we finally got rid of it, I was super happy. But so, okay, so no real concrete schedule, no real day-to-day function, kind of just
No.
passing time out of a job,
Yes.
right?
hmm
Okay, that's severe. And again, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of women who can relate to this if you are like how Wendi was. So, Before doing the protocol, what made you decide to pull the trigger and be like, okay, I'm just going to do this, especially considering that there must have been some hesitations at the time. So, kind of just walk us through what made you decide to do it.
I had been wanting to do something like this for a long time, but the affordability was the main thing for me. Um, I, of course, was out of work, so I wasn't making any money, but my fiance just, I was talking to him about it, and he just stepped up and said, do it.
Wow.
Um, I will take care of it. So, because of that, I was able to just jump in head first. And that I've known I wanted and needed to do. Regular doctors don't help. They patch. They haven't been trained to heal the way that you have been trained to heal.
So,
Um,
different approach. Yeah.
yeah, just a different approach to medicine.
Okay. So, I see. And I don't think I even knew this that hubby or fiance was like, you have to do this. So,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Hmm.
Okay, so finances were something that held you back. You were
Hmm.
really blessed to have the support from your family,
Oh,
give you
yes.
their push of encouragement that go ahead. We are going to kind of fund this for you. And I'm sure for fiance to be able to say that, he had to have either really seen the value in what we're doing or really have understood how much pain you were in at the time.
He would come home from work and I would just be crying because I couldn't do anything. And I couldn't understand why I couldn't do anything. And I just didn't know what to do. Nobody could help me. The doctor was like, I don't know. We've tried this, and this, and nothing's helping. So just relax, try this. Just sit there and do nothing, basically.
How fun is that?
But she is also
Yeah.
the one who was so excited that I was working with you because she knew it would help me.
Yeah. Yeah. She's been great. She's been an amazing support to you through the time. I know that. Okay. So finances were a bit of a hesitation. Aside from the finances, like what else kind of made you decide, like, okay, this protocol specifically or working with me specifically is right for you?
Well, after our first phone call, we just kind of clicked. What what I needed was what you could fix, or you could help me and show me how to fix, which is what I've always needed. I knew I needed to do something different. I just didn't know how to do it. And you basically told me over the weeks how to fix what needed to be fixed. You explained it and you showed it. You've been through it yourself. And I mean, you're very real.
Love
You're
that.
not you're not like a regular medical doctor. You are, I don't know how to explain it. You're amazing.
I'll take the compliment. Thank you.
But
Thank
yeah, you're there. You know exactly what we need. Person to person, you're able to do that for
I
each
love that.
person individually.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. And I think I asked you this question during like one of our last calls and I was like,
Mhm.
Wendy, because you mentioned how I kind of like knew how to fix it and what to do. So there we're talking about structure. But
Yeah.
if back then I was like, Wendy, here's everything you need to do. And I gave you the whole entire protocol and the course site and all the instructions and all the diet plans. And I was like, go do it. How
Mhm.
would that have changed things? Like, would you have been able to do it?
No. Um, I don't know anybody that would be able to do that just by saying, hey, go do this. But to have access every single day, not just to you to ask questions, but to have everything online where I'm able to get into it and read it and go over it. If 3 months later, if I had a question, I could still go in there and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember how to do this.
Mhm.
I would not have been able to do it just with you being like, okay, you need to do this, and that's it, and not speaking. And to have that support is just priceless.
Yes. Because I think there's a big misconception, not just with health, but like with all areas of our life, right? Where we think like,
Mhm.
okay, if I have the information and I know how to do it, I should be able to do it. But a
Mhm.
lot of times, like our own mindset might get in the way, self-sabotage, external circumstances, things get in the way that don't allow us to implement what we know how to do. And especially when you're in the depth of adrenal fatigue or whatever other diagnoses you have, which make it so hard to like gather momentum, muster up energy to do anything, that's where the support piece might be really helpful.
Right. I'm one of those people that I take everything kind of literal. So if you told me to do something, I would follow that instruction to the ends of the earth. And one example was my birthday. I came up with, my birthday was shortly after starting the protocol. I
Yeah.
was like, I really want to cheat on this. And you pointed me in the direction of you can. If you follow this, it's get on here, read this. This is what you can do, and you'll be fine. Just jump right back in the next day. It
Yeah.
made it so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, when we're overwhelmed, it's like our mind is racing and we're like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? And sometimes it's just really helpful to have someone be like, yes or no. And this is why.
Yeah, just simple. Yeah.
Simple. Okay. So let's talk about some of the results. So we talked about where you were before, right? So
Mhm.
you're about 6 months out of our private work together. It is a long time-ish,
Yes.
like maybe short in like the big scheme of things, but share with us some of the results you've experienced since completing the protocol. So specifically, you can talk to us about things like your energy, stress, weight loss, like just share us some good news.
There's so much. um, I stress has been my number one. My mom was a worrywart, and I inherited that from her, of course. But I was at the point where it was making me physically ill every day just because I was so stressed out. Within 2 weeks of being on the protocol, that pit in my stomach was gone, just gone. I know that, to me, that is major. And I haven't felt it. And I've noticed and noted that how many times over the past 6 months something stressful has come up. And I am telling you, it has been one thing right after another. You know that. And I've been able to handle everything so well.
Mhm.
Um, I don't I don't cry for the wrong reasons anymore. I'm kind of feeling some happy tears right now.
Yes.
My anxiety is almost non-existent these days. My depression, along with my anxiety, they were off the charts, and now I've got everything pretty much under control. Of course, I have to see, the regular doctors for medications I'm on, etc. But just doing what you told me to do has changed so much that they wouldn't even consider. The way I eat,
Mhm.
um, I still hate to cook,
Right.
but
Yes. Noted.
but it's so much easier now. I know what to cook. I know when to cook it. Oh, when to cook it. When my body needs to be nourished, I can actually feel that. If I don't eat good food, my body craves it.
Right.
I no longer have cravings for sweets or anything sugary or anything. I've not had a craving for anything for several months. And
Well,
that to me is
that's
huge,
significant, right? Because
right?
let's kind of
Especially,
let's give the people context, right? So past
yeah.
diagnosis, if I may, right?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Diabetic, anxiety, depression, medicated. So it's it's significant, like what you're sharing with us. And what about energy levels? How has that changed?
Energy. Oh, wow. I no longer have to just sit in a recliner all day because I can't function. I wake up in the morning and before I even get out of bed, I'm naming off like 5 or 6 things that I'm like, okay, as soon as I get up, I can get this done, this done, this done.
Oh,
I would make a list before and I would have my whole day planned. And then 3 months later, I'd be like, oh, I should probably go try to get something done.
right,
Um, didn't have the energy to do it until then. Now it's like, okay, we're having to do a lot of remodeling on the house we're in. We're having to do a lot of cleaning and oh, this dang floor. I know you understand that, but
right. Yeah,
getting floors redone and everything, it's just it's a long process
right.
and I now have the energy to get it all done.
You,
um Weight wise, it wasn't like my priority. I was able to find the right thyroid medications and diabetic medications that was already helping me lose weight, and when I met you, I think I was down like 120 pounds from what I had originally been. And now I am 160
Mhm.
pounds down. I am actually 10 pounds below my goal weight.
So you're down 160 now. When you
Hmm.
had started working with me, do you remember around what the weight was?
Uh, well, 60. So now I'm down to like 135. So I was just under 200 pounds, I
Okay.
think.
So you've achieved about 30 to 40 pounds in weight loss since starting the protocol.
Including inches, but I haven't looked to see how many inches yet.
Yes, yes. And we had
Um,
given a bunch of clothes away during the move, right?
and I'm doing it again because when I met you, I was wearing American size 16 pants, and now I'm down to a 10. Yeah. I
Significant. That's
don't think
significant.
I've ever worn a size 10 pants. So,
And enjoy that. Like, enjoy that.
yes,
You
oh, I
deserve
am.
it. Work for this. You earned this. Okay. Um, so let me see. So 2 weeks, you kept mentioning like, yeah, and then within 2 weeks I felt better, and 2 weeks this, 2 weeks that.
Yes.
Like, why why mention that? What's going on there?
Because when we first had our first call, to see if we would work well together, you had mentioned, I don't remember how you said it, but you said I could possibly start feeling better within 2 weeks. And I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
I was like, it's been 30 years. How are you going to fix anything in 2 weeks? Um, and it blew me away that all I had to do was follow this protocol. And in 2 weeks, I felt better.
Right.
In 2 weeks, I kind of knew how to make myself continue to get better.
Right.
And
Right.
that's why that sticks in my mind. It's like, I don't, anybody is going to be like, what? I don't
Right.
believe you, Sahar.
Yeah, yeah. And it's scary. It's almost scary to think like, I always gave you this compliment on your personality that you were always so positive despite what you had been through or what you were going through. And it's really scary to think that, like, if for some reason you were like, no, I don't want to do this protocol that day, 6 months would have gone by and you would have been in the same place. And it would have been
I would
31
still,
years and not 30 years.
yep, I would still be basically a lump sitting in my recliner.
I'm so glad we got rid of that recliner. Okay.
You and me
So
both.
I am going to read some metrics out of your
Okay.
last progress report, Wendy. Okay. Just so
Okay.
we can kind of frame and just quantify what this looks like for you. Okay. So, for those listening, progress reports are what we use to track the progress of the woman in our protocol. And by the way, with this reference to protocol, this is all of the stress resiliency building, nervous system rewiring, hormone hacking, plus Wendy's customized or tailored approach on the protocol. Okay.
Right.
So if you're wanting to learn more about the protocol, you can reach out and ask. But progress reports are what we use to track the progress of the woman in our protocol, how things are improving for them along the way. So I'm going to read you one from your most recent or like near the end of our time together.
Okay.
So appetite and cravings improved by 100% since starting the protocol. energy, sleep, digestion, and weight. So those four things all improved by an astounding 90%. Okay. So that's significant. And in rating, you rated the quality of your sleep at a 9 out of 10. Your
Oh yeah.
morning and daily energy levels averaged at an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, thinking about those metrics, like, how are you feeling?
I feel amazing. Um, my sleep hygiene has changed drastically, and by that you'll have to explain the whole sleep hygiene to them. But I I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and you had given me until 9:30 in the morning to sleep, because I was such a mess and my body just needed the rest. Now I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and at 7 o'clock in the morning, I wake up without an alarm. I have never been a morning person, and now I'm just like, oh, you've turned me into one of those.
Yeah, like love me and hate me. You're now a morning person. No,
Which is good because I have to get my kid to school.
right, right. No, I'm so happy. So it's just complete difference night and day from sitting in the
Oh,
recliner to now waking up bright and early at 7 in the morning, right?
I don't even I don't sit in any recliners or couches or anything. I very rarely watch TV. I'm always busy doing something.
Yeah, and we talked about this, Wendi. I'm super happy for you. And energy is now, once it's there, right? Like you've built up that baseline health, you have the energy, you have the stress resiliency. Now it's just about maintenance for you, right?
Right.
Managing your resources, looking at
Mm-hmm.
energy as a resource, understanding how to not burn out. But
Right.
that's beyond the scope of what we're doing here. So I have one last question for you,
Mm-hmm.
Wendi. So looking back, on your time in the protocol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of understanding where you were, how the decision was kind of hard for you, all of that. Um, what advice would you give to anybody else who's maybe sitting on the fence about like starting something for their health or maybe starting this protocol? What advice would you share with them?
Do it. That's it.
Do
Do it.
it.
Um, in the words of Nike, just do it.
Yes.
Um,
Now.
um, I waited too long.
Okay.
I let myself talk myself into I couldn't afford it, several times, until I really couldn't afford it, and my fiance stepped in to help me. I wasted years that I could have been healthy for absolutely no reason other than stopping myself, doing it myself, basically hurting myself by not doing it. Um, I know that feeling of being scared to try something new, um, spending money on something. I'm horrible about spending money on something that I don't know is going to work.
Right.
Or, yeah, it just, why would I want to do that? I don't believe that it could, the 2 week thing comes back in. I don't
Right.
believe that that happened. So why would I want to spend any money on it? Take the plunge. I promise it will literally change your life for the better.
Oh, this makes me all emotional and kind of
I know.
like sad to know that it's that all the time was wasted. And obviously to make that decision, right, because it was so scary for you, you needed to have some sort of like security or maybe this like voice inside your head being like, maybe it was a gut instinct, right? But
Mhm.
something was kind of giving you that push of like, do it, just do it. And so that's the advice. Like, if you were sharing with other people, you'd say if there's that voice kind of nagging at them,
Do
yeah,
it.
okay.
Listen to it. Try it. I mean, even if they just do a couple of months, you're still going to get so much more than a couple of months worth out of it, because what I've been taught will last me the rest of my life.
Mm. Hmm. And you're
I
good
know what I
now.
have
You
to
can go
do.
back to work now, right? We're looking
It's
for
like, oh,
jobs, we're
yay.
doing things.
Exactly. Oh,
Right. So
so
you'll make
much
it back.
freedom.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing with us. If you guys are watching, just give Wendy a hand, even if you're alone in your room, wherever, give her a hand. This concludes our client success interview. Congratulations again, Wendy. Everything
Thank
you
you.
have shared with us, you honestly deserve, have earned. You've worked really hard. It's not just about the protocol and the structure, it's about the work that you put into. You have every right to be proud of yourself. And this is a reminder to everyone else that no matter how bad or debilitating things might seem for you, it is always possible to feel better. It just comes down to having the right support and you actually really wanting that for yourself. All right. So
Absolutely.
that is that. Bye now.